On July 4th, 2011, my parents received the phone call that I had broke my neck, drowned, and was paralyzed from the neck down. My name is Kevin, and I am an architectural and commercial portrait photographer in San Diego, California. On July 4th, 2011, I was in the midst of quite a few projects that had delivery dates within the next few days. And that all changed when my roommate came into my room and said, you know, it's a gorgeous day out, we're gonna take the boat out, do you wanna go? And I figured, well, I'd been working so hard that I'd just give myself a little bit of a reward and head out in the boat, maybe for an hour or two, come back and finish all the projects. So we got out to the island. It's a little man-made island in San Diego. It's in Mission Bay. I was waist deep in the water and I thought I'll go for a swim. So simple diving motion forward. But what I found was I wasn't swimming and I wasn't sure why. I tried kicking my legs to roll over on my back, and then the realization set in that I couldn't move anything from the neck down. What we ended up finding out later on is that I broke 3 vertebrae in my neck. The craziest thing is that we don't know why those vertebrae were fractured. A couple people rushed over to do CPR. They weren't quite doing it correctly, and thankfully there was a nurse that was there on the beach that rushed over and pushed everybody aside and said, I know what I'm doing. She started doing chest compressions, and after a certain amount of time she brought me back around, which is something that I'm incredibly grateful for. That later, through a lot of searching, we were able to find out the nurse's name, and ICE was able to bring me back around and keep me stable until the lifeguards arrived. I ended up having 2 surgeries. They repaired my neck through the front and through the back. I have 2 plates, one in the front, a single bar that goes up from C4 to C6. And then in the back, I have another very cool Go Post looking support. They're both titanium. I don't set off the metal detectors in airports. That's probably the #1 question that I get from the accident. My road to recovery began in the ICU. I spent 11 days there, and actually for about the first 6 days, it wasn't known whether or not I was actually going to still live. My time in the intensive care unit was really difficult. I was intubated, so I wasn't able to talk to anybody, and I wasn't able to write to anybody. So all forms of communication happened through blinking. By the end of my stay at the ICU, there was definitely hope that things were going to improve. I started to slowly see some movement come back to my extremities. My right arm had a little bit of movement, followed by my leg. Then eventually, I was able to move my toes. After the ICU, I was transferred to a rehab home where I had to basically relearn every human function. I had to learn how to swallow on my own. Had to learn how to eat, how to clothe myself, how to tie my shoelaces, and ultimately learn how to walk. It's very exhausting. My energy would plummet. My body was focusing so much on healing internally that you really have no energy left for really anything else. My days consisted of 2 implementations of physical therapy along with a session of occupational therapy, and that lasted about a month and a half, and eventually I was able to meet my goal. I was able to walk out of rehab. After I got back home from rehab, I wanted to jump right back into my normal life, but it quickly became a realization that that just wasn't going to happen. Simple tasks like waking up, eating, showering, and getting dressed for the day, something that would normally take 30 minutes, now took 3 hours. And I'd quickly become drained and have to nap multiple times a day. All of this while still fitting in physical therapy is just exhausting. All of these things running through my head would leave me restless at night at times. During those nights where I wasn't able to sleep, I used photography as my release. I would grab my gear and head out to the beach and do long exposures at night. And slowing my camera down to 2, 4, and 8-minute exposures really helped me to slow down and recompose and get some balance back from all of the chaos. Photography became my outlet. It became its own therapy for me. It's the thing that really got me moving on or transitioning back into a normal life. That desire to tell a story or create an amazing image is what I use to carry on. In addition to that, the photo community surrounded me and supported me on so many levels. For instance, the local ASMP chapter and APA chapter put together a fundraiser and social event for me where I could meet people from the community that had been following my story and had been supporting me. Epson provided a printer for me and sponsored an exhibition of my work. And the MAC group also provided equipment for me to help me get back fulfilling that need and desire to photograph. Throughout this whole process, the amount of support from my family and friends, photo community, and people that I don't even know has been absolutely amazing and overwhelming. And it's given me the desire to want to give back in any way that I possibly can. And fortunately enough, I was able to do that. If you remember that amazing nurse Ice, well, she got married this past weekend and I had the incredible opportunity to photograph her wedding. And although it's no way comparable to the gift that she gave me, it's at least some small gift that I could give back to her and say thank you. If I were to take 2 things away from this, one, on a personal level, really take the time to enjoy and spend time with family and friends and the community around you. They've all been there supporting us to help us get to where we are, and they're going to be the ones that are there when life changes in an instant when we're totally unprepared. And 2, on a professional level, let your passion guide your career. Life can really be so short to really do anything otherwise.